So the takeaway from week 1, you've learned how to think like an art historian, meaning you've learned terms, concepts, skills, practices that you're going to keep doing that allow you to do art history. And so the first and most fundamental is this idea of direct sensory observation, a primary skill for looking at art. It's at the foundation of all the analytic work we're going to be doing going forward. It also happens to be what unlocks the pleasure of art, which is so important, right? Pleasure is what keeps us going through this journey. It also makes for truly vivid and captivating writing. I hope you saw that in reading what you and your peers wrote, how your writing in response to the food exercise is so direct, so concrete, so precise, that it gives it a great deal of power. You want that as your resource when you continue to write about art. And beyond this class, it's what I hope you carry forward with you through life as you encounter art. Many people go to museums and feel sort of intimidated and silent and uncertain before these artworks because no one has actually shown them how to relax and absorb what is being offered through the senses. People sort of quickly worry about whether they're getting it, when in fact we need to take time to just kind of experience and discover what the artist has done in the artwork, what the artist is inviting us to experience. So that's why we do the food exercise, right? But it's also helpful because another skill you want to keep practicing as you learn about more and more artworks in this class and you read about them is the skill of not jumping too quickly to conclusions, not assuming we know what is being expressed. The idea of staying longer in what is called beginner's mind in Zen Buddhism, a state of kind of being simply receptive. Because part of what's great about art history is getting us out of our conventional, accustomed habits of mind, which is the point that the authors in the textbook make so cleverly by having you look at the Renoir painting and setting us up to assume that we're seeing two little girls in dresses and then realizing, wait, our ways of seeing our conventions of our culture, our historical world, they're not natural, they're not inevitable. This is a massively important insight of art history. So the other big takeaway is that in order to really interpret an artwork, which means to explain its significance, it's not the same thing as having an opinion about it. An interpretation is not the same thing as an opinion. An interpretation requires that we recognize that artworks belong to the time and places of their making, and it's our job to acquire historical perspective on that. So these are the insights that we are going to keep using. We're going to keep applying these skills and insights going forward. So if there's any part of this that feels fuzzy that you want to go over with me or with peers, please reach out so that we can kind of clarify. Because what you've learned in this first section, here's your takeaway, it's not just, oh, you're done with this. You've actually learned the skills that you're going to keep using. Just like if you're a soccer player, you keep having to kick and run and practice kicking and running because that's the whole deal. And so it's going to be like that with kind of direct sensory observation, formal analysis skills, and then the application of historical information to constructing an interpretation.